I'd like to go over in this video using the path workbench. As you can see, this is used to simulate CNC and other paths that would use Gcode. I have a sample part that you can see being machined right before your very eyes within FreeCAD. So I would say that this is an extremely powerful, extremely effective tool in being able to simulate machining. And we're just going to finish up here. So why don't we get started? I'm going to show you in this video the basics on how to do this. And the path workbench is so extensive, I would have trouble showing you in one video. So I'm going to make you dangerous and then maybe follow up on some other details in a future video. I'm going to start by making a new part. And let's just make a part right here and now that we can machine. I'm going to choose the XY plane on the part design workbench, and let's do the symmetry here, here, and here. Shift V for vertical dimension, 100 millimeters. Shift H for horizontal dimension, 100 millimeters. We're going to close, and let's go with a pad. And 10 millimeters seems a-okay. In fact, let's make that 15 millimeters. There we go. I'm going to choose this top face and create another sketch. And notice it's more ideal for FreeCAD to use data planes to sketch on, as I've learned. I am going fast here, and it won't affect our result in this case. With making that symmetrical, maybe I can import two edges. Shift V for vertical dimension. We'll offset this by 10 millimeters. In fact, I don't even think I needed to import that other edge. We'll offset this by 10 millimeters. Now we'll close, and under tasks we'll pocket down to 10 millimeters. Okay. I'm going to select my vertical edges here. That one is a little stubborn, but we got it. Path workbench. Come on. There we go. So after selecting all of these edges, looks like that's going to be my last one there. So I selected all of these. We're going to fillet, and we're going to give it a fillet of 10 millimeters. And there we have it. So we want to machine this, and we are ready to do so on the path workbench. We're going to go path, and the only option we have is to start a new job. So create a new job. And it immediately asks me what body do I want to do the job on. You can choose multiple bodies at the same time if you have them all in separate bodies, but here I just have one body, so it makes it very simple. I immediately am given my job edit menu, and you can see this box that has shown up, and the box has an offset from the surfaces of my part. This is what I would recommend doing, as this represents a stock, and you'll want to do some facing passes to eliminate the outer edge of your stock. So this is what that's telling you. We can eliminate 1 millimeter of stock before we get to the face of the part that we want to have be our final face. Again, that allows for roughing and smoothing passes. I think FreeCAD is brilliant for doing that. If for some reason you don't want to do that, you can also say something like create cylinder and machine this out of a cylinder profile, or use existing solid, which I don't recommend, or just create box, and that is there's no offset, right? The only offsets are where your fillets are, because the end face is the final face. I don't recommend that either, so I'm going with the extend model. You can also fine-tune how you want your stock to be relative to your part, by adding perhaps some, extra offset 10 millimeters in one direction. Maybe we can go 5 millimeters in another direction. Maybe we can go 20 millimeters, so we can machine that out of a big stock if we want to. And this really is, what size of stock do you want to use, or do you have available, or whatever. So again, I prefer my 1, 1, and 1. You can also select your tools. You have a default tool. You can come down here and say Add. Now these are tools that I just made up right on the spot. You can always make up a new tool by saying New Tool, and it gives you a number of selections. An end mill, a drill, center drill, countersink, counterbore. One of my favorites is the ball end mill and chamfer mill, because you need fillets and chamfers, and that's what it'll do it for you. And you can enter in the parameters, like the dimensions of the tool, and say OK, and it creates a new tool. For me, since I've already made some tools, I'm just going to use say a 10 millimeter end mill that I created. We can do that with the whole thing. And then you say Create Tool Controllers, and that's what creates this new controller here. And we say OK. And this is our more feeds and speeds information, our horizontal velocity maybe, and I'm making up a number because these aren't real tools, 10 and 5 perhaps for vertical. And then I'm going to add that. Oh, actually I just say OK. You also have some information on the work plan, which we can get to, but that's all that I'm concerned with filling out here. That's all we need for this job. So when we open up the job, we have our default tool, which I'm not going to use, and our 10 millimeter end mill. Operations, which is the actual machining operations. You have a model, and this represents the model of the part getting machined. It's just a copy. This is the stock, so this is that kind of invisible rectangle that encompassed our part, and a setup sheet, which I don't generally use. So for operations, right, let's get excited and add an operation. There's several operations that we can use. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video, but the super useful ones. We have a contour, which goes around the outside and cuts the outside profile. And we also want to have a facing tool. This will be based on face or faces. Oh, but I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong thing here. I want to do a facing operation rather, which is this. So I've got my face selected. What's my tool? I'm going with my end mill. And when I choose my tool and my face, it says we're performing a facing operation on this face. So you can see my base geometry is this face. If I have multiple faces, I can continue to add faces, but all I want is that face, so we're fine. We're going to check our depths. It looks good to me. Heights looks good to me. Operation. Let's go with, and this is just what pattern do you want to clear the face. So if I go with a zigzag and apply, this is what our zigzag is going to look like. And step over percent, I think it defaults to 100, and when I apply that, you can see that there's less path. So if I say OK on this, I can simulate this toolpath being removed here, and let's see, we might get some interesting results. I hit the play button, and there's my stock being faced. You can see it leaves some of these indentions in the face of the part, right? It's not that clean. So there's a few ways to address that. I'm going to say cancel. We're going to go back to our operations, and I'm going to edit my mill face. We chose zigzag. If I choose zigzag offset, that adds a path around, right? So we've offset from the outer edge of our face a certain distance. So if I say OK to that, oh, but that's my Gcode. I actually want to simulate. There we go. Now, you'll see we haven't removed all the material because there's this circular gap so that some of our stock is unaffected. That is because we have we've only done the finished face. We haven't told FreeCAD that we want to move beyond the finished face. So if we want to face this entire stock, then there's an option that we have. and that is going to be on mill face. We're going to edit. We're going to say material allowance. Let's go with 7 millimeters, and we'll apply that, and you can see how it offsets it by 7 millimeters. And now if I simulate, we're removing the entire face of our stock. So the next thing we want to do, perhaps we'll want to add in a contour. I click on contour, and yep, our end mill looks fine. So I'm going to, and of course you can do your different options of depths and heights and operation as well. But this looks good to me, so I'm going to apply and OK. So I've told FreeCAD first we are going to simulate the path and face, and then we're going to do an outer contour. And there's our finished product there. Next I'm going to want to do this pocket, and there's a few things that you can do with this. First thing, highlight the face that you want to pocket out. Then you can go to profile based on face or faces. In base geometry we have our face. I'm going to go to operation, and again you can cut outside, but we want inside. And if I apply that, let's see what happens. We face, we do the outside contour, and we leave a big chunk in the middle. That's not what we want. We're going to delete that. And what we want to do is create a path pocket from object, create a path pocket object from a face or faces. And this will clear out the center. So we've got our geometry, going to go to operation. Again, if I do zigzag, it will look rather familiar. If I apply, you can see there's going to be some material that's not taken off of the wall. So I really recommend offset on this because it covers the entire part. And I haven't talked that much about step over percent, so if I said 20%, you'll see that there's going to be a lot more overlap. So it just depends on how much overlap you want to have in your path. I think that leads to less tool wear, if I remember correctly. So here we're facing, now we're doing the outer profile, and now we're doing the center hole, and we go back and forth very slowly. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. I think you've seen enough. If it lets me stop it, I don't think it will. I think we're stuck watching this whole thing. And we're done. So I'm going to cancel that. You probably got a great example of step over there. So we can say something like 80. Okay. So that really could finish the part that we want to make. I'm going to delete my pocket shape and show you something else. There's a whole other option. If I highlight this face, I can say 3D pocket from face or faces, and it does the same thing, but it may present some options that you like better. So if I say OK to that, simulate the toolpath, we face, we do the outside contour, and this is with our 80% step over. We have roughly the same path, but it's a whole nother option that you may want to explore. Next thing, and I think this is pretty exciting when we finish this small amount of second layer, of course, and we're going to go around and finally be done. And that's going to be adaptive clearing. I'm going to delete this, and in adaptive clearing, notice it doesn't really give you path options like the other options do. But if I apply adaptive clearing, you can see we've got a strong spiral. And this may take a long time so I might be painting myself into a corner, but this could take a long time. With adaptive clearing, here we face, here we do our outside profile, and now you'll notice we slowly spiral in. And I think the whole preview for adaptive clearing just takes long, but adaptive clearing has been shown to increase the life of the tool and decrease the time it takes to do roughing passes by something like 40%. And since it takes, I'm not sure, like $1.50 or something like that per minute of running a CNC machine, adaptive clearing can highly save you cost for the time running a CNC machine, also the time that your tool will last for. So adaptive clearing is an amazing option, and I think FreeCAD is awesome for having it. And this is what adaptive clearing looks like. I think it goes faster in real life, but I'll speed this up so you don't have to sit through it. So that is the Path Workbench. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.